Okay, let's look at question 15. Mr. Ahmad had some sweets and shared them equally among 32 students. 8 students didn't want the sweets. In the end, the rest of the students received 4 extra each. So what happens is that out of these 32 students, 8 of them didn't want the sweet. So only about 24 students wanted the sweets. And out of these 24 students, because these 24 students will be receiving 4 extra sweets, so there was actually a total of 96 sweets that was actually being given away. And this 96 sweets was given away by the 8 students in total. So what happens is that it's like almost a unit. You have 8 units equals to 96. So one student would mean that they are supposed to be receiving 12 sweets. Okay, and you have altogether got 32 students. So to get the number of sweets you have at the beginning for 32 students, you could take 12 multiply by 32, which would give you a very nice answer. 12 times 32, 384 as the answer. Okay, let's continue to question 16. What is the value? When you talk about value, we are talking about numbers. Sometimes they could be asking also what does the digit 3 stand for. So it is the same thing. They are asking for numbers. What does this 3 stand for? What does it mean in values? 30,000 is the answer. Okay. Now arrange the numbers from the smallest to the biggest. You have number 1, which is very small, that's 21,000, that's the first one. Then between 22,000, you have one that is having a 0 hundreds, so this is the second smallest one. Between the other two, you have 800 and 900, so this is the third and this is the fourth. Okay. Question 18. What is the number in A and what is the number in B? To get A multiplied by 2, multiply the numerator by 2, you will get a digit of 6. Now what about B then? Let's reset everything. What happens is, how did 3 become a 9? I multiply by 3. So if I do that, I will have to multiply 3 at the bottom as well. B gives me a 4 times 3, which is equals to 12. Let's go on to question 19. Now you have a numerator, you have a denominator. What fraction is this shape over here? So you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you have a total. Remember, the denominator is always a total number of 8. So this gives you the answer. 5 of the 8 total parts are squares. Let's look at question 20. Now if you remember, we talked about how number lines is actually just boxes. So I'm going to just draw out the boxes so that they totally look like a model to me. So they're asking for the arrow over here, which is equals to 3 shaded part. So we have got 1 whole, 3 shaded part out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the answer, 1 whole, 3 seventh. Let's go to 21. Find the value of 604 multiplied by 59. So we have got 3 digit multiplied by a 2 digit. Okay, we start off with a 4 times 9 gives you a 36. 0 times 9 is a 0. Plus a 3 gives you a 13. You have 6 times 9, which is 54. Plus 1, 55. Now let's go on to the second layer. You have a 0. 4 times 5 is a 20. So we have a 2 now. 0 times 5 is a 0. Plus a 2 gives you a 2. 6 times 5 is a 30. So let's add up everything together. You would get the answer 35,000 736. Now, I'm not going to go through this one because I do not have a protractor for this one. So we're going to skip this question and move on to 23. Now, those who have been diligent and hardworking, if you remember drawing squares and rectangles, I got you to ask you to draw a draft first. Okay, so to see that your final drawing, you know how roughly it should look like. So we need a rectangle, and we have got a P, we have got a Q, where you are supposed to have a OPQR. Now, if P and Q is here, you should know that O will be here, so that it follows in this order. OPQR has to be here. Okay, OP has to be 7 centimeter. So OP 7, PQ has got to be 2. Okay, so following this draft, I'm going to draw out the 2 centimeter, which was already being drawn. And I know I need to have a OP that is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Going down 1, 2. And connecting the rectangle. So if you use the ruler properly and you label them, you should be able to get a full 2 marks for this question. Okay, so see how important your draft is. Your draft really helps you to draw the final drawing very well. Let's go on to question 24. Now, question 24, you will need to find parallel lines. If you remember, parallel has this symbol over here. So, one parallel line will be this one and this one. So, it will be SV parallel to the one below, which is UT. Of course, some of you may reverse the letters. That is fine as well. Now, the second pair, so this is one pair. Huh? Now, the second pair goes like this. Instead of the one on top and below, we have one that is at the side. So you have got VU parallel to ST. Or if you would prefer to write it in the other way around, TS. So these are 2 pairs of parallel lines. Okay, let's go to question 25. Sarah's age is between 10 to 20. Her age is a multiple of 3. Now, the moment I see this keyword, multiples of 3, I would know I will want to write out all the multiples of 3. Okay, but there's a time that I need to stop. Okay, I shall stop here because since she said Sarah is only between 10 to 20. So, cannot be these 2 answers. Cannot be 9 as well. Could be 12, could be 15, could be 18. 21 is not possible. And the sum of the digits is 6. Okay, so the sum of the digit here will give a 3. The sum of the digit here will give a 6. The sum of the digit here will give a 9. So the only possible answer, this person must be aged 15 years old. Because the 2 digits adds up to 6 and they are multiples of 3 as well. Okay, question 26. Mrs. Toh bought some stickers for 35 children. Each child receives 6. So 35 children, each child receives 6. We are going to multiply them. We get a 210. And she had 5 left. So this 5 left, we're going to add it back in order to find out how much did he buy at first. Answer 215. Question 27. 8,109 adults and 325 children attended a soccer match at a stadium. How many people? So we are interested in children. We are also interested in adults. So we are going to add these 2 together. And after that, we are going to round the answer to the nearest 1,000. So let's do an addition first. 8109, we're going to add it to 325. 9 plus 5 is 14. 3. You have a 4 here, you have an 8 here. Now this digit, we're going to round it to the next 1,000. So we can choose to round up to 8,000, round down to 8,000, or the next nearest one will be 9,000. So we're going to box up this 8, and we're going to look at the digit behind. It's a digit 4. So it seems that it is closer to 8,000. So we're going to round this number to 8,000 as the final answer. Okay, alright, our favorite number patterns. So I hope you have heard about the advice to do your arrows properly. The arrows will help you to find out what the pattern is. Plus a 50 and plus 100 plus 150. Looking at the pattern, 50, 100, 150, and you know the next pattern will be 200. So 7320, I'm going to add a 200 in, which is going to give me a number 7520. If you are very careful with your work, you might just want to double check, because the next pattern is addition of 250. So see whether this number will lead you to 7770. That's another way to check your answers as well. Okay, let's go down to this. All the smiley face, this is the smiley face, it shows the same fraction. So you have a fraction and you have a fraction, and it's going to give you 411. So what is going to happen is that the denominator doesn't change, but the two numbers on top, the numerator, needs to stay the same. So it has to be 2 and 2, because 2 plus 2 will give you a 4. So the question here is asking, okay, what does this smiley face represent? The answer is 211. This will help me to double check my answer. 1 whole minus 211 equals to 911. Okay, so I can double check, make this into 1111, which is 1 whole, minus a 211, see whether I will get the answer 911, and yes, I do, so my answer must be correct. Okay, now Ling Ling is standing over here, and he's facing the market now. So he's facing the market now, and she's going to turn 135 degree clockwise, anti-clockwise. Okay, now 135 is made up of 90 and 45. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an anti-clockwise. If you remember, anti-clockwise goes in this direction. So an anti-clockwise goes something like this. Okay, we're going to do a 90 degree first. So 90 degree will look something like this. So we're going to turn it properly. Let's turn from the market. We're going this way. That's 90. And we are going to do a 45, which is half of a right angle, which will bring us to the mall. So the answer is the mall. Okay, now let's go on to question 31. Dan is standing at point X facing the school. He turns in a clockwise, so clockwise is going to go like the clock like that. And he's facing the playground now. This is at the end. So how many degrees has he turned? We're going to find out. So you do an anti-clockwise, meaning you're going to turn to the park, which gives you a 90. Okay. And we're going to turn another round of 90. And we are going to do a half turn of 45. So we had a 90 and we have a 45. This gives us a total of 215 as the answer. Okay, now let's go to question 32, our one and only area. Now this is a square. If you know it's a square, 19, and we know that square means that they have 4 sides that are equal. So what are we going to do? If this is 19, this must also be 19. This must also be 19. This whole entire thing must also be 19. Now, you have a 19 and you already have a 4 here. You have a 4 here as well. So what is this question mark? 19. Take away this 4. Take away another 4, which will give you a total of 11 centimeter as the answer. So 11, let's double check our answers. You have 11 plus a 4. Okay, 11 plus a 4 gives you back the 19.